vlog in this YouTube channel. So for today, we're going to discuss about
Building the semiotic foundations of language systems.
our discussion will focus on the relationship between the sign and the language. So as per Ferdinand de Saussure, 1913, the sign is the result of having the signified and the signifier. He then believes that language is not a structure but a system of signs which are arbitrary. So the terms arbitrary, signified, and signifiers will be discussed by the next reporter as this discussion goes on.
According to Morner and Roach of 1998, structuralism is not what makes a individual literary form different from others, but what makes it common with other literary works. And structuralism is a system that tries to analyze text with a specific grammar that controls its forms and meanings. According to Ferdinand de Saussure of 1986, he argued that the bond between a signifier and a signified is arbitrary. What does it mean? It means that it has a non-causal or incoherent connection. It means that it is not directly connected with one another. Now, why is it important to use structuralism as a springboard in discussing language? It is simply because even though the sign is arbitrary as far as the connection between the sign and signifier goes, it is not arbitrary for language users. What does it mean? People have to agree to a certain connection that signs or signifier and signified share the same meaning, and same thing goes for the language or the meaning that a certain sign implies.
In 5th century BCE, Plato's dialogue entitled Ascritallus defended the natural connection of words to the things that they represent. Because of this idea, opposition formulates the idea where signs are conventional. One of them is Saussure, where according to him, signs are arbitrary. And this is the first principle of language. According to him, signifier has no direct connection to the signified because it needs the agreement of the society.
So it was already mentioned a while ago about the topic or the concept of signified and signifier, which are proposed by Ferdinand de Saussure. So to further explain the idea or the concept, let's discuss about the Saussurean model and the Peircian model. So Ferdinand de Saussure suggests that sign has two parts, which are the signifier and the signified. So take note that these two, the signified and signifiers, are inseparable and are both arbitrary. So the signifier, it's the concept, or it's the words. It can be an action, or it's the concept as a whole. And the signified, it is the meaning, or it can be the image itself. So for example, let's say we see the words caution, hot. So that's the signifier. The signified is the image of, it can be the image of a fire, which signifies that we need to be cautious because it's hot. So we can say that the signifier is the word, and the signified is the image. So on the other hand, Peircian model by Charles Sanders Peirce suggests that it is not only that a signifier does not only have one interpretation but three. So it can be iconic, symbolic, and lexical. So iconic, it refers that the signifier resembles the signified. For example, if we see a sign of if you see a sign or an image that a man is digging a hole, that's the signifier. Then the signified will us be thinking that there is this man, that there is a real man digging a hole. So for the symbolic one, it is similar to what Saussure is suggesting, that the signified and the signifiers are arbitrary. So for the third indexical, it suggests that the signifier and the signified are linked directly. For example, our signifier is, the smoke. So the signified will be a fire.
This discussion would be relevant and integrated in English language and literature subjects for secondary education students for reasons that it is highly useful in terms of translation. So, translation takes place when two similar words are being enclosed with related ideas but differs in values. For example, in French, the word mutant refers to the animal and meat of the sheep. There's no distinction between these two words. While in English language, mutant refers to the butchered meat of the sheep, while the word sheep refers to the animals itself. So looking at these two words, they are related to each other, but they are different in value. So situating it in the class, students will be able to determine the signified meaning of the words in their materials, so that they will be able to consider the context involved. With the help of signified, students will able to create concept related to the given word, or in the sense that signifiers, because other linguists argued that there's a possibility that there is more than one signifier or signified meanings. So if the students will able to know the signified meaning of the given word, it will pave way to the a clearer focus on the ideas being established by the concept.
So let's do a recap. So we now know that language is related or connected to the sign, because language is the system of signs which we all know, are arbitrary.
Structuralism is important in language discussion because even though the language is arbitrary, the language users are not. Saussurean and Persian models are two semiotic models that differs with a number of ways of interpretation.
And last but not least, the discussion of this topic is relevant to us ELL students to help us in terms of translating those signs, because those signs might be difficult to interpret since there is an arbitrary relationship between the two.
And also the concept formulation. So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Bye!
Thank you.